This mind-blowing story begins when ships are firing on the island. This island is not ordinary because the monster lives here. One of them prefers to watch and has high hopes for the hunter, because they know that these males are nothing before these abominable creatures. So, they rely on the hunter who can eliminate these beings. On the island, hunters are ready to knock down the monsters. Even red giant ants appear before them. Their size and ugliness have scared them, but they don't let their commander down, and gives priority to fighting against the creature on their last breath. But they don't know their decision has put their life in danger, because this ant proves to be the boss of these hunters. They have started tearing them apart, and the fire magician proves nuts before them. Their commander, who is their hope, lies on the ground mercilessly. Even with injuries on his body, he thinks he is going to lose consciousness. Before he loses his mind, Bion arrives and saves him from the ants' attack by thrashing them away. To cure his wounds, he has started doing healing magic. But those obstinate ants try to retake his life. This time, Yoon-seok uses his thunder power and knocks these out on the ground. Still, many ants are around them, but Yoonho is too old to tackle them. He is tearing them apart with his mighty power, and Yoon-seok is assisting him. Bion, who wants to heal other people, wants their protection, and they are ready to fight back with this ant to shield him. A giant white ant appears, whom they consider their boss. A Genet ant is about to crush Yoonho, but he holds its tentacles, and Yoon-seok gives this monster the biggest shock of his life. By availing himself of the opportunity, Yoonho plucked out his tentacles and made a hole by throwing them into his stomach. It's not long before they take a breath and kill him. White giant ants came out from their den, and they boosted their power to mess with them. On the other hand, Mr. Choi, the commander, asks them to get ready because these ants have arrived in the city. He uses fire magic to beat them, which has eliminated many ants. But still, there is an army to fight back. To wipe them out, he signaled his army, and they followed the orders of their leaders. Many years ago, portal has opened in the world that leads to monsters here. The sad thing is that conventional weapons are futile before them. Only those who have special weapons and fighting techniques can beat them and survive. These people, whom they call hunters, according to their ability, they are classified. The S rank is supposed to be legendary, and the lowest one is E. This E rank belongs to Sung, whose ability is too low. Even people are astounded as to why he has joined this job. Also, there is no chance of his progress. Today, Kim and Park met at the hunter's spot. They are pleased to see each other after a long time. Even Kim imagined that Park had quit hunting. But his wife is pregnant, so how can he give up? Earning money is their priority, and risking their lives. At the same time, Sung arrives, and everyone warmly meets with this young guy. It looks as if he is a high-rank hunter because people around him are giving him protocol. Kim clears his misunderstanding by saying he is the weakest jerk in their hunting spot. Also, there is no hope of his promotion. Hearing this, Park gives him a taunting look, and Kim asks him not to speak loudly because he doesn't want to hurt his feelings. Unfortunately, there is no time to be careful because he has heard and agreed with their statement. He moves forward when he encounters Juhi, the healer. Sung greets her, but she is not in the mood to welcome him by watching his face scar. As a result, she reprimands him for being careless and not taking the addition of a healer to the team. As their team belongs to high-ranking hunters, there is no need to be a healer, and Sung knows his ability and low rank, so he has no complaints with anyone. Still, Juhi starts blaming him for not taking his life seriously. In response, he apologizes to her by admitting his mistake. Just then, Mr. Song introduced himself as a team leader, and everybody welcomed him because his rank was higher than theirs. After that, they proceed to move ahead to the portal. Park, who is passing by him, advises him to stick with them to stay alive. As he moves ahead, Sung again looks at his dagger, which is not lethal. Instead, it's an ordinary one because he does not have enough budget to buy a fantastic weapon. Ignoring it, he steps forward to the portal because his never-ending war awaits him. On the other hand, the president informs his secretary of the governate's demand to avoid dungeon breaks. Further, they are also demanding precious supplies from the dungeon. Their appeal is not wrong because of these gems and stones. They can create unique weapons. Also, President Go shows him a crystal derived from a slain magic beast. It reveals it is a rare one. On the other hand, Sung looked at the gem in his hand and was pleased because he had gotten it. Although he hasn't killed a high-rank monster, he obliterates an E-rank monster. Another monster takes him out of the imaginary world, and he is ready to fight back. But his dagger doesn't support him and has broken. Consequently, this demon attacked him and started cutting his stomach. Before he can succeed, another hunter approaches and knocks him down. Later, he moves forward to kill others. Juhi, scared to watch his injuries, moves forward to heal him, and she is sure that she will cure him. Comparatively, Sung moves his attention to the hunters with remarkable power, and he is nothing before them except trash. Aside from this, President Go informs that with dungeon gems, they create a weapon. Through this weapon, they are eligible to kill the Mighty One. Further, mana crystals are also found in dungeons, and one can create weapons with them. But comparatively to gem weapons, these are not worthwhile. Still, these weapons are in great demand, and the government wants to research them, because they are searching to create lethal weapons. As they have killed the last one, they are satisfied. But not entirely, because they still haven't needed to get precious gems and stones. Through this, they can't grab more money. Just then, one of the hunters has found a tunnel. It means there is another dungeon inside. It rarely happens, and the leader Song prepares to inform the headquarters before taking further steps. But hunters who can watch the money in front of their eyes prefers to get inside. Even Park also joins them because his wife is pregnant, and he needs a significant amount. They all have no idea what is going to happen next, and they are confident about what they need to face forward. A leader who is not contented with their decision prefers to do voting. In the voting, they got a tie, because many want to step in, and others want to get rid of this place. Everyone has given the vote except Sung, so Song asks him to participate. Before saying no, he thinks about his mother, who is hospitalized, and he needs money for her treatment. How can he forget about his sister, who is studying and it demands money? Therefore, he has given his approval. They are considering it a rank dungeon, so they don't have any option to step in. However, they have no idea who they are messing with. In the company, Mr. Choi is hiring a capable and talented hunter. Instead, they are signing a contract with them. On the other hand, someone on the bike has snatched the wallet of a girl. He has no regrets and is happy because he will have a party. But his plan is messed up when he looks at the gorgeous girl before him. Watching her, the only idea that comes into his mind is that she is planning to die, because she is standing in front of the bike. Before the bike crumples her, she jumps like a competent hunter and wins people's hearts. As a result, they have fallen injured. The crowd gathered around her because they understood who she was. She is an S-rank hunter, and people are looking at her as if she is a celebrity. Before the situation worsens, she jumps on the building and goes away, without giving anyone a chance to ask further questions. The people behind her are pleased because they have met with a S-rank hunter. On the other hand, it's almost 40 minutes as they have to walk. Still, they are looking for their boss, and when the portal closes, they have 20 minutes to eliminate this. While walking with them, Juhi needs to talk with Sung. Soon, Sung noticed and apologized to her without knowing his mistake. In a fury, she started insulting him because he had no concern for his life. He has recently survived but wants to escape the danger again. Even though his body is entire of scars and wounds, he still doesn't give up. This thing is bursting her out, but Sung has no answer except apologizing. He can't share his sister's and mother's expenses with anyone. Listening to the apologetic words, she calmed down. But she is not going to forgive him easily. Instead, she asks for dinner after escaping from this place. Sung is also ready and doesn't know her interest in him. After walking for a long while, they have figured out the door of booze. But watching the elegance of the door, they are stunned because that never happened before. Some of them prefer to leave without getting inside and having money. But those who are blinded by lust for money prefer to get inside, because they can't accept a return with an empty hand. So, they have no choice except to enter. Meanwhile, President Go is giving a lecture to the hunters. Many of them are going to be competent hunters. Before this, they must prove themselves and be ready to give their lives. While entering, they are looking at the guards made of stone. There are many statues that look as if they are looking at them. Ignoring the elegance, they are exploring the boss. Even one of them challenges the boss to come out. All are reading something engraved on the wall. Aside from this, Juhi's concentration is on a giant statue. With this statue, she is scared. Even she is scared enough to death when she reveals this statue, which has rolled down his eyes. But Sung ignores her because the statue can't move. Just then, the door mysteriously closed. It looks as if some power is controlling everything. One of them is fed up and prefers to leave this place. He doesn't have yet a desire to have more money. Only he wants to get rid of this place, and he steps forward to go out. While reaching the door, he tries to open up. At the same time, the guard near the door has off his head. Seeing this, yelling and screaming are heard. Sung, who has considered the misunderstanding of Juhi, has realized something odd. If this guard can move, it's not weird if the giant statue rolls his eyes. With trembling legs, he looks back. All of a sudden, he looks at the gleaming in his eyes. He has realized something is going to happen. So, he asks everyone to get down. As his expectations, this giant statue set a massive fire to them. But they have survived because Sung has warned them. Sung, who is a weakling, has to spend hand to mouth. He has lived in a life and death situation because he belongs to the E rank. Many times, he has gotten injured and stuck in the maze. Even fighting with low-rank monsters is challenging. Still, he fights with him by risking his life, and more than the reward he gets is needed to purchase a precious weapon. In comparison to him, another hunter has a lethal weapon. Also, Sung is scared enough to death because he is going to die here. When these monsters can head off a rank hunter, then his status is no more than add to them. Others' situations are not different from his, they are also shouting with fear.
Song-chi instructs everyone to stay where they are, as the statue will surely attack again if they move. Juhei is too terrified to move, and Song-chi disobeys his own orders to tell Jinwoo that he did a good job. If he hadn't noticed what was happening, then they would have all lost their lives. Song-chi is a seriously tough guy, as Jinwoo is shocked to see that he is now one arm short. Jinwoo must stop the bleeding for him, as their healer Juhei is in the fetal position because she can't handle the pressure. She is actually a B rank healer, but her cowardice makes it so she can only participate in easy raids. Song-chi has taken part in many B rank raids himself, so he can tell that this statue is an A rank, or maybe even an S rank. The tablet had things written about praising God or there would be consequences, so Jinwoo determines that this god it spoke of must be the statue. We then learn that 10 years ago, gates appeared all over the place and gave rise to a number of supernatural phenomena. An example of this are the people that awaken to special powers known as hunters. They are tasked with defeating the monsters in the dungeons, and a hunter's power, once active, never changes. At school, Jinwoo's sister tells some girl about how her brother's always getting hurt. This girl can't believe that Jinwoo is a hunter and remarks that she would be a better hunter than him. Back in the dungeon, Song-chi wants to think of a plan to get out, but some dude gets really impatient. He just signed a contract to join some famous guild, so he can't afford to die there. This guy is confident that with his insane speed, that he can get away. This guy really does have amazing speed as he takes off running, but the statue absolutely disintegrates him, leaving only his really fast feet behind. This makes it pretty clear that this statue could wipe them out in an instant if it wanted to, and it would be easy for it too. That begs the question, why doesn't it just do it? Jinwoo realizes that it must have something to do with the first commandment, which is to revere God. Jinwoo stands up as he has come up with an idea and gets a real determined look on his face. Song-chi is concerned but is amazed to see that from the look in Jinwoo's eyes, he hasn't given up on surviving this ordeal. Jinwoo looks the statue right in its eyes, but manages to stop it from attacking at the very last moment. He has figured something out and tells everyone to bow their heads. Jinwoo assumes that revering God means that as long as they keep their head low, it won't attack. Everyone else is too dumb to think of another plan, so they all bow down to the statue. They are all terrified as they can't see much and wonder if this will really be enough. Everyone freaks out though when the statue makes a terrifying face. Mutton Chop Sideburns gets up against everyone's recommendation, and he gets all excited because the statue isn't attacking anymore. Everyone follows his lead, but Jinwoo feels like there is more to this. Just then, the statue shockingly stands up. The team's supposed leader turns to Jinwoo now, as he hopes that he has some kind of plan. Unfortunately, Jinwoo doesn't, but he is certain that they can't break the commandments set by the tablet. The second commandment was to praise God, so one brave long-haired man steps forward to give something a try. He begins to pray to this thing, and everyone thinks it's working as the monster slows down. Jinwoo knows better though, and reveals that the guy's words don't apply to this god. The statue instantly stomps on this poor guy, and everyone freaks out. Absolute mayhem breaks out as some side character girl gets crushed, and everyone decides it would be best to spread out. Parks thinks about how he can't leave his family without a father, but he picks the wrong place to stay still, as another statue slices him in two. As Jinwoo runs with Juhei, he desperately tries to think of the meaning behind praising God. This monster is practically the devil, so he can't think of anything to praise about it, but what he does know is that he can't leave Juhei alone. As everyone loses their lives around them, Jinwoo frantically searches for clues. As he looks at everything the statues are holding, he comes up with an idea and tells everyone to go to the statues that are holding instruments. Everyone does just that, and it becomes clear that these statues don't attack. Instead, they play their instrument. The one Jinwoo arrives at doesn't play its music, so it becomes clear that it doesn't work with two people. After Jinwoo leaves Juhei, the statue plays music, and Jinwoo rushes to find his own statue. The giant statue nearly crushes him, but a screen points out that Jinwoo has landed in front of the wrong statue. The statue slams its shield right on top of him, causing Juhei to scream out to Jinwoo. Jinwoo is still alive, but in really bad shape. He is determined not to give up, but the giant prepares to end his life once and for all. Jinwoo refuses to die as the giant slams its foot down, but a statue begins to sing, and we see that Jinwoo made it to a statue just in time. He realizes that this is what it means to praise God, and the giant statue takes its seat. Jinwoo tells Juhei that he is fine, but she is stunned to see that his foot was ripped off. He tries to tell Juhei that he will be fine, but she refuses to listen. She is determined to heal him, but her body begins to fail. Everyone is stunned to see how horrifyingly terrible the raid has gone. One guy even tells Songchi that losing his arm was karma for leading them down this path as their leader. The others think that's a bit too harsh, but Songchi takes full responsibility. Jinwoo is way smarter than all these people though, as he knows that there's no time to be fighting since there is still one more commandment left. Just then, the giant raises an altar at the center of the room. Jinwoo knows them well from legends, where they are used for offering treasure and sacrifices to the gods. The third commandment was proving your faith to God. Kim assumes that the sacrifice must be someone's life, and he couldn't think of a better candidate than their leader. They have all had to witness the deaths of their team, and Songchi is the one responsible. Songchi decides to go to the altar, but Jinwoo points out that it isn't all his fault, since they voted to come down there. A fire appears as Songchi approaches the altar, and he asks Jinwoo if there's something else he needs to do. Jinwoo is not only the smartest of the bunch, he is also the bravest, as he asks the others to help him get to the altar so he can examine it. Jinwoo doesn't think anything bad will happen to them, so they take him and they find that more flames appear. Songchi keeps asking Jinwoo for answers, but he hasn't come up with anything yet. Songchi explains that the gate has been open for a week, so the statues will likely start moving again before anyone comes to rescue them. Jinwoo recalls how it takes 7 days for a gate to open all the way, and that is called a dungeon break. When that happens, the beasts are able to cross over to the other side. One of the main objectives of raids is to defeat the dungeon boss and shut the gate down before that time is up. This means that if they fail to defeat this boss now, then that terrifying giant will be able to enter their world. Back in their world, Gina goes to see Jinwoo's mother. She chats it up with her, but their mother is in really bad shape. In the dungeon, Jinwoo tells the cowards of the group to come towards the altar, since he predicts that they need a flame to light up for each person. Once they do, more flames appear, and the door opens right up. They fear that it might be a trap, and the other statues shockingly begin to start moving towards them. Everyone panics, but Jinwoo keeps his calm to analyze the situation. This absolute genius realizes something else and tells everyone to keep their eyes open, as the statues won't move if they are watching them. Everyone listens to his orders, and it surprisingly works. Everyone does their best to keep their eyes on the terrifying statues, but one woman succumbs to fear and tries to run for the door. The second she crosses the circle, her fire goes out, but she does manage to run out the door. Songchi can't understand what's happening. The door clearly closed a bit, but the girl did seem to make it out. He thought they needed to stay in the circle, so of course he turns to Jinwoo for answers. Jinwoo is just as confused, but he once again analyzes everything. The blue flames have been dying out over time. One of the orange ones went out when someone escaped. The first order was to revere, the second was to praise, and the third is to prove their faith. Jinwoo is certain that the door must be a trap. The situation is causing danger and fear, and now offering a false sense of hope. This makes him wonder if it's testing their faith in this god. Jinwoo is tossed to the ground as the next idiot decides to make a run for it, and the same thing happens. His flame goes out, the door closes a bit, and he seems to escape. Kim has thoughts of leaving, but Jinwoo warns everyone not to move. If anyone else leaves, they won't have enough eyes to keep the statues from moving. He reminds everyone that as long as they keep their eyes on the statues and don't move, they will be safe. Jinwoo shows more of his deduction skills, as he has determined that the blue flames serve as a timer, and when they are all gone, they will be able to leave. Kim points out that there is also a chance that they will just get trapped when the timer runs out. He concedes that he didn't expect Jinwoo, who is their weakest member, to have pulled off as much as he has. The only reason they are alive now is because of him. However, Kim has a family waiting for him, and he doesn't want to die. He just wants to make it home and can't risk Jinwoo being wrong. Kim apologizes and runs out the door. With not enough eyes to keep watch of all the statues, they begin to move again. Jinwoo still refuses to lose his life here and reminds himself that he has managed to make it out of tough situations before. Things are clearly worse than ever though, and Song-chi shockingly tells Jinwoo and Joo-hae to leave. He predicts that the door will stay open as long as one person remains by the altar. The two of them have long lives to live, so he insists that they should be the ones to go. Song-chi wants Joo-hae to look after Jinwoo, but her legs give out on her. Things couldn't possibly get any worse, and Song-chi realizes that Joo-hae must have overexerted herself while healing Jinwoo. Things have taken quite the turn, so Jinwoo tells them to leave him behind. Joo-hae needs someone to carry her out of there, and Song-chi's the only one with 2 working feet. Joo-hae thinks she should be the one to be left behind, but Jinwoo reminds her that he promised to take her out to lunch. He gives her his gem so she can buy a meal with it, and promises to get the change when he gets out of the dungeon. Joo-hae refuses to leave him behind, but Song-chi apologizes and knocks her lights out, as they really are out of time. He apologizes to Jinwoo as well, and leaves him behind to take Joo-hae to safety. Jinwoo can at least take solace in knowing that he will be the only one who has to die, and his only regret is that he didn't take out a better life insurance policy. Jinwoo grabs a hold of a sword, as he is determined to at least take one of these statues down with him, and tells them to bring it on. The statues savagely start attacking him, and Jinwoo gets tossed around. As he struggles to survive, Jinwoo thinks about how he has always been the weakest. He has been mocked for it time and time again, but he has always tried as hard as he could. These statues are relentless, as they cut off one of his arms, and Jinwoo screams in agony. Jinwoo is furious that it has to end this way, since he tried so hard to be stronger. The statues cause him even more pain and thrash him about further. Jinwoo continues to think about how even though he failed to get stronger, he still gave it his all to get this far. Jinwoo motions to yell in anger one more time, but he can't even do that as he is stabbed through the chest. Jinwoo is just barely alive, but rage overwhelms him as he thinks about the first few people that ran from the altar. They said they just couldn't take it anymore, but Jinwoo points out that they all felt that way, and all they were doing was justifying their own selfishness. The supposed gratitude they felt was superficial, and it's always the most selfish people who benefit the most. Rage fills him even more as he thinks about how he has family too, and he wanted to make it home alive just like they did. He screams in pain as these statues torment him even more, and Jinwoo begins to wonder if it's really a good thing that he's the only one that has to die. As Jinwoo's tattered body lies on the altar, he wonders how he could have thought that way and calls himself a hypocrite. Jinwoo tries to breathe and thinks about how he doesn't want to die. The final attack comes crashing down on him, and Jinwoo wishes that he could just have one more chance. The final blue flame goes out, but a mysterious notification pops up, revealing that a secret quest called Courage of the Weak has been completed. The qualifications to be a player have been acquired, and it asks for it to be accepted. The player's heart will stop in a fraction of a second if not accepted, and the button saying yes is pressed.